little bit tense. There is active litigation between myself, Brittany, and about 12 other parties. Well, 14 if you count the defendants, or 64 if you count the others. It's pending. And because it's pending, I'm not here to try the case in public. I've actually condemned people that have done that for the past year because it's pending. And I'm not going to discuss legal communications, strategy, any of that. I'm going to keep this grounded in what's already public and what I've directly observed. Here's the reality that forced this conversation into the open. For more than a year, I've watched a recurring pattern where issues that could be addressed privately and maturely, they don't happen like that, right? They don't stay private. They start in private channels, albeit Discord, iMessage, and then get taken public, then amplified on YouTube. Once it's public, it creates a cycle. More speculation, more accusations, more people dragged in, and less room for any resolution. So tonight, the goal is not to inflame at all. That's why there's no chat. I have that shut down. We're not going to have a chat. There's no need for it. The goal is to de-escalate while holding the line. We will deal in verifiable facts and public record. We're not going to do harassment. We're not going to do doxing. We're not going to stoop to their level. We're not going to do threats. And we're not going to turn the legal process into entertainment. We're not. Tonight, any funds that are raised, it goes directly to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, directly. So there's no profit at all coming our way. These moments compel us to rely on one another. However, at times like this, guys, when hope seems lost and despair sets in, something extraordinary always emerges. It's the American spirit of courage, generosity, unity, and profound love for each other. It's supposed to be a true crime community, and that's precisely what I'm requesting tonight. And the only reason we're doing this on a live platform is because earlier there was a live about me by an individual that obviously is in the title. So I guess let's cut straight into it. I'm going to cover about 10 points from that individual's live, Brittany Jackson's, just so I can make sure the record is straight. Again, it's been over a year, and I want to say there were maybe 24 attempts, multi-hour attempts, to de-escalate the situation with Brittany and how she handles litigation, stress, and I guess drama, if you'll call it that, which is drama is when people get dramatic, like the Kardashians, or drama. A lot of the hate channels and a lot of the stuff that even Brittany, that you're partaking in, is criminal. That's what it comes down to. It crosses that line. And by continuing to discuss a situation that is bringing you such harm, it doesn't help it, right? Because every time you go live, it adds another 6 months. So here we are, a year and a half in, and here are the allegations that were brought up earlier. This was kind of not expected. I usually like to plan stuff before we go live. My camp was going to reach out to Miss Jackson before she went live. Well, I didn't know she went live. We were going to reach out and ask if she wanted to go live together and discuss whatever she wanted to get off her mind, because it was our understanding that she's not very happy that I said that if B. Tim, the guy that harasses the families of the missing and the vulnerable, were to finally unmask himself, come to Pennsylvania, but I pay Granny's legal fees. Okay, she can pursue whatever legal action she wants, but at least they'd be there. Oh, that's no judge is going to say, hey, keep the money. We don't want it. They're going to take it. So it'll be added to it. That's not something that should have been taken in the context that you took it in. And since you like to address stuff publicly, and this is really we're doing it because we tried phone calls, we tried FaceTimes, we've tried private discussions, we've tried everything under the sun. I mean, everything but Dr. Phil, and it didn't work. It didn't work. So we're going to have to stoop to the level of fact checking this green team, which is Miss Jackson, because that term is also something that came with her. As far as one of the claims I heard is that somebody approached her. We didn't know who she was. She actually disparaged me before we even got involved. So I had no desire to work with Miss Jackson, and she said that I recruited her. She came to us. The victim of concern for Miss Singh is not Miss Jackson. It's a veteran. It's Miss Valenti. It's a resident of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Somebody who resides here in our Commonwealth. That's the victim in chief. That's why Miss Singh is in this. It's not so much to do with Brittany, and that's on Brittany and the attorneys, and I won't get into that. But let's get into the points that were brought up. So the first one is, I'm going to quote right from the live. I'm accused of every time something happens, people think that I run to Nick. If there's something done legally, guess what? I don't have a heads up. That's false. The amount of heads up everybody gets, and it's funny how you're hearing this from one person out of nearly over a dozen people. When you sleep in until 5 p.m. and your hours of operation for phone calls are 30 minutes, I don't know what to tell you. That's on you. That's one of the points. Never had a problem from anybody else. I don't think the attorneys had any issues from anybody else as far as not getting stuff. You have to sign everything, so you're not hit by surprise. The lawyers usually send it to us, 2 days in advance? So 3, 4, it sits in your inbox and people have to call you. That's on you. And 14 people have to call you. So the next fact check, I guess, in the live from earlier. Let's see. Nick is being so the allegation, Nick is being directed by Brittany to take legal retaliatory action against Granny. And then you got people over there. They're like, oh, well, she ran over to Nick. She ran to Nick and she told him, Granny's talking about me. Go do this. Again, demonstrably false. A lot of this stuff, there's a paper trail. There's a huge communicating with Miss Singh. I don't know where she comes up with this stuff. My question is, has Nick been talking with Granny? Why would you propose something if she wasn't? Why would you inject yourself when it didn't have anything to do with you specifically? Now, you've been addressing the internet, I know, since day one, and apparently it's getting the clicks that you need, and it gets you, do what you have to do, but if you want fact checks, you're going to get them. You can't come against people when we're coming together, and then you're the one that's ripping people apart, and there's a reason why you can't have more than, what's the longest turnaround you have for your moderators that all turn out to be, my God, name one that's still around from September 3rd or 4th or 5th or whatever dates the team got involved, or October. Do you have one that hasn't flipped and come back? They don't count. I don't think so. So next is vulgar. So it's what the F. We're in litigation, bro. We are in litigation, and you are going to sit there and say something like that. Again, we've been telling you this since day one, and what I said is not a problem. I'm offering to pay Ms. Singh's fees if B-Tim steps up to the plate, comes to Pennsylvania. We'll do it so the Four Seasons actually has a good deal on the conference room, and I can get that done, and we can fit 50 people, and it'll be free to people that aren't going to come in and be disrespectful. There's not going to be any fights. We'll have the Four Seasons security in the room and the Philadelphia police to protect. Nobody's going to hit anybody. I saw a rumor flying around. But if he decides to do that within the next 72 hours, gives us an okay, we have the lawyers and probably somebody, if you are in New York, Mr. B. Tim, will have a New York attorney execute that deal. And you, at the end of the day, whether it's, you guys can call it fake, it's not, she'll get at least what was petitioned for already. Next is, and whatever else has led up to this point, up until today, to get her out. That's up to you, B. Tim. And that's not a problem, Brittany. That's not a problem at all. Next, Nick is juggling people. Okay, the transcript is juggling with all of us. That's not cool, playing around with everybody. Another falsity. This is one person out of over a dozen that believes this. This is one person that doesn't seem to comprehend. Stop talking about parties in the case. I mean, we're on the same party, so I guess it is what it is, or whatever party you want to label it. Next is the allegation of, and I've had people, oh, well, he's trolling. Okay, trolling or not, you don't play with stuff like that. And then you want to come out here and joke around. Now, I don't know if she's more outraged that this may be diverted from her drama channel, or if it was going to lead to a resolution in the case. I don't know which one, because I know that if the case gets resolved, she's not going to have much content. And I know Granny definitely wants the case resolved, I think, as near as I can tell. Then again, Valenti has that call because she's the victim with Granny. Not getting into that. Next is a direct quote. I don't know. I don't know how he would wield that kind of power. It's the fact that he's playing around with it. I don't know what power you're talking about, Brittany. Every plaintiff has the same phone number and the same email for the same attorneys. You have called said attorney. I'll leave it at that. And as far as you not being able to get a hold of him, that's another falsity. Nobody's going to answer the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. Normal business hours would be helpful for anything in this situation like this. Nick could get Granny out of this tomorrow. I'm not even mad thinking that Nick would get Granny out of this tomorrow. It was a rather good offer. And if you keep prolonging it with your lives twice a day for over a year, yeah, I think we can end that because it's a source of revenue for you and a pain in the ass for us. Next. After the injunction first started, there was a clone Dolly account that said something in the chat. He commented and said, Dolly, you have 30 minutes to apologize or you'll be added to the injunction. So that, I never heard of that. I did have a little dispute with Dolly, but it was a misunderstanding, it turned out. It was a misquote that somebody had given. Not Mr. Rogers or anybody. It was some random troll that sent it over. Well, it turned out to be a troll. And I had a negative opinion about Dolly at the time because of that misquote. But then I realized that I was wrong, and I told him that. So, again, Brittany, this is about unity. I don't know what community of true. If you want to do Jerry Springer of YouTube, that's fine. But that's what you call it. That's not a. That's not a true crime community. You're giving that a very weird name when you say this is a true crime community. We're going to talk about John Doe. But first, let me tell you what happened to me in the past 12 hours. I spoke about this person. They had the audacity to go live and refute what I said. Now I'm going to re-refute what they said and add another thing on top of it. The next day, the same thing happens. And then you one-up it, you one-up it, you one-up it. It has to really either get boring or it's making you that much money. I mean, whatever it is, it's not true crime and it's not a community of any sort. It's really not. It's almost, so I have a. All right, here's a funny story. Ellen DeGeneres, she's a friend of mine, and she got accused of the wildest stuff on set. A lot of it, which was not true. Your show makes Ellen's. If all of the allegations were true, and you had some wild soldiers on set at the Ellen show, let's say they were wild, you top it. You have more walkouts for your team than the entire communication workers of America combined in Los Angeles and New York. Your turnaround rate on moderators is like McDonald's flipping at the burgers. Your confidants turn on you left and right, and then you bring them back when they run out of content so they can get more. Either either you're very naive, and I don't think that's true. After knowing you, I don't think that's true at all. Or you are very calculated. That is, that's what it comes down to. There is a strategy behind it, or there isn't. But nevertheless, next topic is when someone else, or when something else happens, when there's a new filing, guess what? Brittany went to Nick and she calls this. Brittany went to Nick and she's making it worse. Brittany, so she's quoting herself. Brittany's doing all this. What? Hold on, let me read that slower. Huh? I don't get that one. Let's see. Now, let me make sure I get a few things clear. I don't speak for any of the other parties. This is me, myself, and apparently Miss Brittany Jackson that did a live earlier about me. Nothing to do with the other parties or the other plaintiffs, nor the defendants, trust me. But there are clear disagreements about approach and tone. There's tension among the parties, largely driven by how the dispute is being handled publicly. Because a lot of it is ending up in the court of public opinion on YouTube by one plaintiff and others. As far as near as I can tell, in my view, repeating public posting escalates the conflict, increases friction around the case, and just makes it a pain in the ass for everybody. It's been a year. Public commentary tends to create more disputes to argue about, even if it doesn't cause filings in itself. It's exhausting. Everybody, well, I guess not everybody's tired of it because you have viewers that are fueling it, but it's tiring. It adds noise and it makes it harder to reach a resolution. I feel like I'm negotiating between Syria and Iran and all this stuff, like the Venezuelans before we got Maduro. I'm over here trying to conduct peace in the Middle East with, oh boy. But again, guys, multiple people have reached out encouraging her to stop, to step back and de-escalate. It doesn't work. The only reason I'm on YouTube doing it is because maybe this is the language that works in creator lingo or true crime lingo. Now, it's not true crime. I don't want to disgrace true crime. And at this point, that channel is a disgrace to the name True Crime. It's a hit for I'll give you that. Beautiful channel for drama. And I'm not trying to undermine her talent. She has a great ability to get an audience, but it's the topics and the talking points that aren't clicking right. Those talking points consist of division. It consists of literally dividing after unity. It's a little bit interesting. There have been repeated efforts to get everyone to disengage from online drama and focus on other stuff, cases, and if you here's an exclusive. I offered you, Brittany, never before released Brian laundry footage of Brian and his parents in the home. If you were a true crime enthusiast, you would have jumped at it. Anybody would have, but you never followed up. You wanted to cover the drama. The drama. And I'm not going to address, I guess, what any attorney advised anybody. That's on you if you want to try that. And obviously that'll be rebutted by, I guess, the attorneys. in court. But what I can speak to is the behavior we all see: ongoing public engagement, despite what any up you wanted to cover the drama, the drama, the drama, the drama. Uh, and I'm not going to address, I guess, what any attorney advised anybody. Um, that's on you if you want to try that. And obviously, that'll be rebutted by, I guess, the attorneys in court. But what I can speak to is the behavior we all see: ongoing public engagement, despite repeated requests to step back. And this is coming from our own side, if you will. This isn't directed at Granny or Barbecue at all. None of this entire live is actually nothing to do with them. This is about Brittany, because Brittany wanted the attention, and she wanted me to call her out publicly because she called me out publicly. So again, I'm probably going to do a longer video on this. This was a little bit unexpected, and I'll do that just to clarify and provide. It'll be in the replay, actually. What I'll do is work and have it edited, cut up, add receipts, what you guys like to call them, with proper redactions to refute whatever other allegations are in that 59-minute live. If another one happens, I'm not going to be going back and forth playing ping pong. We'll handle it in court where it should be handled, but I'd rather not do that. I don't know. Let's see. If there are any other talking points I have to hit, and these were all approved. That's why it took me a little while to get live. I had to go through the attorneys, plural. Sorry, it's been a long day. So, the dispute in itself, it's already repeatedly amplified online, through streams, through posts, through responses. Instead of letting things cool down, it keeps being recirculated publicly. It's being kept in the public arena rather than confined in the proper process by any means of the definition. Everything has been exploited in this process, and I've never seen something like this in my life. Everything exploited to this magnitude, it's kind of wild. I'm not by any means suggesting that Brittany is the sole cause of these filings, though I will tell you, in the hearing we had in February, without all of the disruptions we had and the sheriffs having to march in twice, it was mostly about Brittany, who wasn't even there. And you know how, that's a slap in the face for the plaintiffs that show up there, but we only hear about Brittany and what she had to say the night before, and the night before, and the night before, and the week before, and the month before, and 2 months before. It's exhausting. But I'm not saying she's the cause of all of them, just a lot of them. Filings are obviously typically initiated through legal counsel and in the court process, but they've been initiated on YouTube and a lot of instances on here because of Brittany. Again, this wasn't supposed to be something that was going to be a call-out match, but it wound up there when I was instructed that I was live and I have to make a response on some of the allegations, if not all of them, but we just don't have time tonight. Let's see. As far as Brittany ignoring the lawyers, I'm not going to discuss anyone's legal advice, their attorney communications. I can only speak to what's public, which is the continued online engagement about an active case. I'm going to combat any misinformation that comes out about me only from those that are plaintiffs. That's not a thing because it's not happening. It's only one person out of like a dozen. You buy a carton of eggs and you have a cracked one. This is what we're dealing with. I'm not assigning motive. I'm describing a dynamic. Ongoing public engagement tends to escalate a dispute, and I think it's counterproductive while litigation is active. I shouldn't have to call you out like a child. I shouldn't. And you aren't a child. You are very bright. You are very good at what you do. You have a talent. If you want to do it with drama, do it, but do it respectfully. and not at the cost of others, and not at the cost of this litigation, and not at the cost of people's sanity. Do it with people that I guess enjoy that back and forth instead. Don't get into a case just to turn it into that, because it robs the case of its value. It robs the community, the true crime algorithm, and all of that. When you have drama wars, like what? It's not cool, right? We're adults. We're not in high school, and even high schoolers would look at this and say, "Yo, these people are adults. They're adults, but they act like this on a public platform." It's ridiculous. But to call it true crime is a disgrace. To put anybody's name other than yourself and the person that you're going at in the title of any videos that you do is a disservice to the true crime community and to those who follow you, because we believe that you were, in fact, somebody that valued those same standards that brought a lot of us together. I didn't come to you. You came to us. You came to me. I didn't know you. Never would have met you. But here we are. We met. And I don't regret it. I don't. And this isn't to say that you're like terrible at what you do, because you're not. You're very. I'm going to tell you, you're popular. Because look, I think I have more clicks on this than you got Caster. So Brittany, let me tell you, you are popular. So you're just wasting your talent, girl. I don't know what else to tell you. You're getting a good amount of traction, which is another reason why I didn't want to raise any money on here or have super chats and stuff like that, because let the children have it. I don't want to feed into the drama. I don't want to feed into the mess, but I do want to get the message to you.
When hot water is needed, the tankless unit detects water flow and ignites the flame.
Love, kind. Yep. Stop it or do it with dignity. Watch some more talk shows like Jerry. Watch some more stuff like that. Not in any disrespect. That has an audience. It has a following. Trust me, I know a lot of people that became millionaires because of shows like that. A lot of people that became millionaires because of shows like that. Not just the host. I'm saying the producers, executive producers. One of them is still, he knows nothing really about the whole, I don't even know what to call it. He went from the Ellen Show to now the Jennifer Hudson Show. And he's the executive producer, Andy, my buddy. But that is a wild change of like vibe, right? But he became maybe worth $75 million because of drama. Drama sells, but respectful drama that doesn't cause people to lose sleep, that doesn't cause mothers and those to cry on Christmas or other days. I'm not saying that you're the cause of that. I'm just saying in general, don't make people cry unless, I guess, if they come at you first and you're defending yourself, but just stop it for 3 months and see if they stop coming at you. They will. And if they don't, you file a police report and they'll get arrested, because that's 3 months of harassment, stalking, and charges. And then you stick to the true crime. If you go to true crime, they can't combat you with anything. They're not going to attack you if you're not talking about them. They're not going to attack you if you're not acknowledging them, because they want to use your audience. They want to use your following to boost theirs, and it's working. It's working. But other than that, I think for the most part, that's the message. I'll have some more to say if I have to. I don't want to. I don't want to have to go back and forth. But again, we're going to update this with receipts and put that in there for you guys. Nothing that's going to be like any embarrassing or anything. Like, we're not trying to. It's going to refute everything that was said line for line. So if I have to do another live, I'm going to. I'll know in the next couple of hours what we're dealing with and how much more was said. I can't emphasize it. I mean, of all people, Brittany, you should know when it comes to Discords and stuff and YouTube and every Twitter, X, Facebook, iMessage, everything. We know as far as what your reaction was. We know what you said about this live. We know when you found out about it. And we're not trying to fight. We're just trying to get the message to you to get on the same page with everybody. Again, thanks guys for tuning in, and I'll be back when need be.